So, about a week ago, I finished the entirety of Nanatsu no Taizai's manga, and since season 3 is absolutely trash, I thought of making a video explaining the full story of Meliodas from day 1 till the very end. I am one of the biggest fans of the 7 deadly sins. I was very intrigued about Meliodas. He looks like a kid who's like more than 3000 years old, seems to know everything and has a lot of secrets. He went through heaven and hell to get where he is right now. Nevertheless, I'll be talking about his entire story. I don't know why I have to say this, but somehow I must. This video has spoilers! I mean, if you click on a video like this expecting no spoilers, I don't know what I can do to help you. I will go on a chronological order, and I'll mostly quote the manga in this video because the anime altered the story in the manga a little bit. In any case, buckle up and enjoy the sad story of this beautiful man. We're going to start off from the demon world, the birthplace of Meliodas. On July the 25th he was born, almost 4000 years before the first episode in the 7 deadly sins. His father is the Demon King, a creation of chaos, and he has a mother who has not yet appeared in the story. I'd make a safe guess and say she is also a demon. Therefore, Meliodas is a demon, so he has the traits of the demon race, but he is a high-ranking demon, which makes him even stronger. He has 7 hearts from his demonic genes, meaning to kill Meliodas, you have to destroy all 7 of his hearts. He has the ability to use his demonic powers to heal himself. He can also use the demonic powers of Hellblaze. Hellblaze is essentially hellfire, a fire that will burn forever unless the person is strong enough to take it down. He has demonic wings that makes him fly. I don't know what you expected. He has a very strong body. We'll get to that later. He is faster, has faster reflexes. All in all, he is extremely stronger than your normal demon. Meliodas by then wasn't as cheerful as he is now. He was an honorable, lovable, strong, proud, humble, heroic fighter, but he lacked emotions. In his first 200 years of youth, he was trained by his master Chandler. Chandler is the other half of the original demon, a creation of the Demon King. Chandler taught him magic skills like Counter Vanish that we saw in Vasil Tournament, Revenge Counter that we saw twice against Hendrickson and the other 10 commandments. But Chandler also taught him full counter, which became his prime magic ability. Meliodas learned fast, and he became so strong that he single-handedly shifted the balance of light and darkness towards his favor. But, as I said, he has no emotion. His father tells him to go kill off a country of innocent celestials, he would do it. After all, at that time he was his father's favorite son and the idol of his little brothers, Zeldorus and Estarossa. At around this time, the Demon King gave Meliodas the commandment of love, which is 5% of the Demon King's total power. The commandment of love is essentially meaning anyone who possesses hatred in his presence loses the ability to hurt everyone else. And Meliodas earned his seat as the leader of the 10 commandments, the most elite of the elite demon warriors. I didn't stress this enough, so let me re-elaborate. He was fearless, he was callous, which means cold-hearted, feared by the goddesses due to his immense power. People would freeze in their places whenever he appears. He had this dead, emotionless look in the eyes, and he practically never lost a fight. As I've said, and I'll repeat it again, he single-handedly shifted the balance of light and darkness to his favor. Remember this is really important. One day, Meliodas crossed paths with Belion. Belion is a 10 commandment wannabe. He caused a lot of damage to one of the celestial layers, so Ma'il, the 4th of the archangels, had to kill Belion. The aura of Ma'il's power alerted Meliodas, and just in time before the archangel Ma'il would kill Belion, Meliodas made his appearance. And he looked goddamn epic. Look at Meliodas. Jesus, am I fanboying hard? This is literally my iPhone's wallpaper for like 5 years. Anyway, his very existence there made Belion tremble so hard he pissed himself. Meliodas beat the manhood out of Ma'il and Ma'il cried back to his mama. At some point of time in this event, Meliodas was on his way back from a mission. He was near a country called Belieruin, the capital of the wizards. There he saw a little girl running away from a group of Harry Potters. He immediately crashed down and repelled those perverted fucks from capturing Merlin. Yes, the little girl is Merlin, and fuck you, I did say spoiler warning at the beginning of the video. Anyhow, I did say he still had the characteristics of a great person, but he was still emotionless. He gave a helping hand to Merlin, made sure she was okay, and he went straight back home. Meliodas wasn't too keen on fighting goddesses. As a matter of fact, he hated it. but he did it to save his race and to lead the commandments. He was on a mission with Zeldarus, his little brother, and he was so odd to why Zeldarus was so devoted to getting stronger. Zeldarus would follow his bigger brother around. He tries to learn from him and get stronger. He was surprised when he found out that the reason Zeldarus was so obsessed about being strong is to protect his lover, Gilda. At that moment, the first stage of Meliodas' emotions started to appear. One day, Meliodas brought his little brother to a dragon hunting grounds. After they finished their training session, Zeldarus probably went back to his girlfriend, and Meliodas stayed. There he saw Elizabeth flying back from a mission of her own. They both knew each other. Their reputation preceded the both of them. The oldest son of the Demon King and the rightful heir to the demon throne, Meliodas, being the most dangerous callous demon second to the Demon King himself, and the daughter of the supreme deity, Elizabeth, who's known for her kindness and careness. But in the battlefield, she was known as the blood-stained Ellie. Don't look down on her, she's incredibly strong as well. There, Meliodas and Elizabeth met for the first time. It was love at first sight for the both of them. They both hated the war and the conflict between the goddesses and the demon clan, and that united them. Whenever the both of them finish a mission, they would meet up in the Heavens Theater, an abandoned goddess creation above the country of Britannia. There are only 4 people on Earth who know about this location: Meliodas, Elizabeth, Mael, and Merlin. As time went on, Elizabeth and Meliodas got closer and closer and fell deeply in love. Eventually, they were both sick and tired of the war between the Demon King and the Supreme Deity. Meliodas made the decision to go against his own clan, the demons. Before he did anything, he went to his little brother and told him about his entire plan. It was to free the goddesses' prisoners that the demons held captive, getting rid of the commandment of love, and leaving alongside Elizabeth, and hopefully Zeldarus and Gilda would join them. Zeldarus said no. He is by nature an obedient son to his father. In no way he would agree to betraying the demon race. Out of anger, he said to his idle big brother, "You're no longer my brother. The next time we'd meet, we'd be as mutual enemies." Zeldarus walked away. But Meliodas noticed 2 people listening to this conversation. They were Aranak and Zeno. They were part of the old 10 commandments. Before we get going, let me tell you about the first 10 commandments roster. The leader being Meliodas, then Galant, Gother, Derieri, Monspeet, Melascula, Esterossa, Kalmadios, Aranak, and Zeno. When Meliodas found out that Aranak and Zeno knew about his plan, he didn't want to risk the life of the captive goddesses. So he killed Aranak and Zeno, freed the captive goddesses, and deserted the demon clan. Remember when I told you about the level of Meliodas' power? Now that he betrayed the demons and joined the goddesses, the balance between light and darkness has shifted toward the side of the goddesses. To give you another perspective, not only did the demon clan's total strength fall, the total strength of the goddesses has risen due to Meliodas joining their side. At that very moment, the goddesses saw that this is a golden opportunity to eliminate the demons off of the face of the earth. The goddesses never liked Meliodas. After all, this man slaughtered half of their people. But due to Meliodas saving the goddesses' captives and being protected by Elizabeth, the goddesses allowed him to fight alongside them. The betrayal of Meliodas was the reason for the first holy war. The war was the demons versus goddesses, giants, humans, and fairies. Talk about being fair. The goddesses, or more specifically Ludoshel, used the magic ability Cheat Hope, where he can brainwash people to do whatever he please. He used that to unite the 4 races against the demons to eliminate them forever. But Meliodas and Elizabeth didn't know about that. Ludoshel lied to them. He said that his goal was to bring peace between the races, but in reality, he was scheming to kill every demon in existence. Ludoshel, who also captured innocent demons as captives to lure in the demon forces. He lied to Meliodas and Elizabeth and told them that the aura was fake bait. When the demons and the 5 commandments appeared, and secretly go there, all hell broke loose. Ludoshel, at the sight of everyone, pulls a massive reverse Uno card and kills off approximately 60,000 innocent demons. There Meliodas realized he done fucked up now! One of the innocent demons who died is Derieri's older sister. Elizabeth tried to warn the 5 commandments about Ludoshel's evil plans, but Derieri saw her older sister die in front of her. Out of anger, Derieri whacks Elizabeth and pushes forward to take vengeance. After Meliodas rescued Elizabeth, she, out of passion, blamed herself for the deaths of the 60,000 innocent demons and Derieri's sister. When Derriere and Monspito sacrificed their 6 hearts to the Indira, Elizabeth went against the commands of Ludashel and risked her life to save Monspito and Derriere. And she succeeded. I swear this scene was 3 times more beautiful in the manga than it was in the trash anime. This moment is important and we'll get back to it really soon. Although Monspito and Derriere were enemies of Meliodas and they were powerless then, Meliodas chose to save them. On the other side of the map, Nerobasta failed her one task like the incompetent big personality teat fuck she is. Meraskila redecorated the Heaven's Gate into the Nose Fetish Gate, and out comes the real Gotheriku. I'll get back to this beautiful man later. A short time after Elizabeth and Meliodas rescued my favorite couple of all time, Derriere and Monspito. Meliodas and Elizabeth were brought back to the gods of both their races to be punished for their crimes, and those are the Demon King and the mother of the goddesses, the supreme deity. The crime Meliodas committed was his betrayal to the demon clan and killing his own kind, Aranak, Zeno, Kalmadios, and the lower ranking demons. Elizabeth's crime was siding with the demons and rescuing her enemies, Monspito and Derriere to be specific. They both tried to fight off the 2 gods, but they were overwhelmed by their sheer might. Meliodas here could have awakened his inner power and defeated the 2 gods, but he was scared of the outcome if he would unleash his full power. The Demon King and the Supreme Deity killed their children, or so we thought. After Meliodas and Elizabeth died, Gother realized the imbalance of power between goddesses and demons, so the only way to end the war was to take away from the goddesses and add them to the demons. The perfect candidate was Ma'il, so Ma'il died, and Estarossa obtained the commandment of love. This restored the scales of strength back to equality. In the midst of the holy war, after the goddesses realized that they were losing the fight, they activated the Coffin of Eternal Darkness. It sealed every demon at the expense of their life force as goddesses. They used so much of their strength to activate the seal that their bodies eroded and they found shelter in relics, swords, and so on, till they finally regained their lost power. After these events have transpired, Meliodas woke up. He looked to his left and there he saw Elizabeth dead by his side. He had no idea all of this happened. All he did was cry and cry till his eyes went dry. The holy war ended when he was supposedly dead, so he roamed the Britannia, ravaged by the holy war. There he accidentally crossed paths with a girl. She looks almost identical to Elizabeth. She didn't have angel wings or the symbol of goddesses on her eyes, but he thought to himself it was definitely her. He hugged her, but she had no idea who he is. That girl naturally warmed up to Meliodas and somehow fell in love with him. One day, her right eye had the goddess's symbol and her healing powers awoke. Meliodas was really convinced it was Elizabeth, no mistaking it. So Meliodas told this girl the entire story. That triggered her to start regaining memories of her previous life. When the symbol appears on her left eye, that's it. She becomes the goddess that we know, or once knew. She panicked and told Meliodas that they have been cursed and made him promise her to break that curse one day. Meliodas was cursed by the Demon King with eternal life. He will never age and will never die. Should someone destroy all 7 of his hearts, he is brought back to purgatory. He loses some of his emotions, gets his powers consumed by the Demon King inside of purgatory, and then returns to the real life. He becomes stronger and slightly loses control over his demonic wrath. Elizabeth is cursed with eternal reincarnation. She will live as a human and always die in front of Meliodas. Should her powers fully trigger or her fragmented memories are restored, no matter what, she will die in 3 days at the very sight of Meliodas. Then she will be reborn again. She will meet Meliodas again, fall in love with him again, and lose her life in front of him again and forever. 3 days after she told him about the curse, Elizabeth fell into a wooden spike and pierced her heart in front of Meliodas. For the past 3,000 years, 105 Elizabeths died before his eyes, weakening his patience slowly. And for those 3,000 years, he tried every possible way to save Elizabeth from the curse, but to no avail. One Elizabeth regained her memories as a baby and died at barely 3 years of age. Another Elizabeth died of old age without having any clue about her true self or the secret behind Meliodas, and gasped her last breath with Meliodas by her side. This took a toll on Meliodas. The 106th Elizabeth was when he really just couldn't take it anymore. 16 years before the first episode of the 7 Deadly Sins anime, Meliodas got hired as a chief holy knight in a country called Danafol. Danafor or Danafall, not sure, it keeps changing throughout the manga. There he met Merlin. He asked her help in breaking the curse. She suggested to revive the 10 commandments from their seal and taking the Demon King's power from his brother Zeldaris. Meliodas refused due to the dangers it might cause to Britannia. Sometime after that, a slave girl from a rival country was captured after a night raid. The name of that girl is Liz, short of Elizabeth. She was sentenced to death. Meliodas came forth and essentially said, "Whoever lays a finger on her, I will delete him." They eventually fell in love and they got a new pet called Wandelu. He was a parrot? I don't know, not sure. A goth wizard in Danafall thought it was a smart idea to play tic-tac-toe in the Coffin of Eternal Darkness. Thanks to that, Frauderin was able to slip out of the seal, and as you've guessed, he tried to bring his friends back. He thought that shedding the blood of all the residents of Danafall was enough to break the seal. Later he discovered it was the blood of Liz that he needed, because she's a goddess. So, Frauderin killed Liz, and guess where? At the very sight of Meliodas. Meliodas here just couldn't take it anymore. Out of wrath, he unleashed the darkness within him. It destroyed everything around, including Frauderin, who essentially escaped to the slither of life. Meliodas was looking at the hole that was once the second strongest country to Britannia. He found the hilt of a sword that was the key to the seal of eternal darkness, and guess what happens next? A baby is crying next to him. Her mother's last words were, "Please, Sir Holy Knight, take care of my newborn baby, I will not make it out alive." And that baby was Elizabeth Leonis that we know from the anime. Meliodas took the baby. He then met King Baratra of Leonis and Chief Holy Knight Zarataras. They took him and the baby back to Leonis to take care of them. King Baratra's magic ability is vision. He gets an omen of the future of things that will definitely happen. He saw that he would adopt baby Elizabeth as his own daughter. Meliodas agreed to that, under the condition that he would become a guardian holy knight assigned to protect Elizabeth. Zarataras said, "You, holy knight?" And we know how that ended. Meliodas was assigned as Elizabeth's holy knight, and there the beginning of the end starts. King Baratra gets a new omen, that 7 deadly sinners who committed 7 grave crimes would become the protectors of the kingdom of Leonis and defeat the 10 commandments. He shared this information with Meliodas and Chief Holy Knight Zarataras. Merlin fell down from the ceiling and told the king that 2 of those sinners are herself and Meliodas. So King Baratra assigned Meliodas and Merlin the task of forming the 7 deadly sins. I will make a safe guess and say you all know the details of it, but I'll run it through quickly. Meliodas slaps Ban so hard he joined the gang. King cried to Meliodas so hard he joined the gang. Meliodas plays White Knight with Diana. She got so wet and she joined the gang. Gothra snuck into the gang because we actually have no idea how he joined. And finally, Meliodas beat the one form of Escanor so hard that Meliodas decided that. Each of the 7 deadly sins are known for a grave sin. I'll explain the sins of the others in another video perhaps, but all we need to know here is that Meliodas' sin is his failure in protecting Danafall. So he was named the Dragon Sin of Wrath. The 7 deadly sins became famous for their heroic acts and their protection for the kingdom. They had many missions, Queen of the Altar, clearing out the monsters around Leonis, but the one that we really need to know is Edinburgh. 12 years prior to the first episode of the anime, Meliodas and the other 6 deadly sins head out to the kingdom of Edinburgh. They had a vampire infection there, a lot like COVID-19, so they had to teach Corona a lesson. And by that, I mean Ban exhorting Kings and Diana's powers and laughs at them while drinking ale and doing 1,000 push-ups. Escanor humiliates the vampire king, and this eyeball is the dude right here. Meanwhile, Meliodas scouts for the seal created by Zeldaris. Before we keep going, let's take a small history trip. Sometime after Meliodas betrayed the demon clan, the demon king found out that his son, Zeldaris, is dating this hoe from the vampire race. Vampires were allies of war with the demons. When Meliodas deserted the demon clan, they got so butthurt that they betrayed their allegiance with the demon clan. The Demon King, being the sadistic fuck he is, told Zeldaris to go and kill every vampire, knowing that Gilda is his lover. Zeldaris couldn't do it. Instead, he sealed Gilda along with all the other vampires. Okay, with that, now we go back to Edinburgh. Meliodas meets Gilda. She was so heartbroken that Zeldaris wasn't there, she asked Meliodas to kill her. Instead, Meliodas used Escanor's fart to seal her right back again. In case you are lost, when the 10 commandments got revived in season 2, the 30,000 feet hole they talked about was the seal created by Meliodas. This moment is important and we'll get back to it at the very end of the story. Told you guys this is a long video. To commemorate this moment I changed the audio. Bring some coffee cause we still practically haven't even started. Although I hope you enjoy my unique storytelling though. Before I mention the first part, around this time Meliodas was training Gilthunder and he told him about the charm, that if you were ever in trouble, say this: "I am now stronger than all 7 of the deadly sins." Frauderin, being the slimy fuck he is, possessed Hendrickson and Dorifas and made them kill the prior chief Holy Knight Zarataras. Margaret Leonis, daughter of the King Barataras, knew about it. She told Gilthunder, but then they were forced into silence by the mage Vivian. The 7 deadly sins were summoned to an old abandoned tower after their Druid of the Altar mission. They opened the doors and saw Zarataras horrifically murdered. They looked outside the windows, and every single holy knight in the kingdom was there. Dorifas and Hendrickson framed the 7 deadly sins for the murder of Zarataras. The holy knights tried to take the entire tower down. Meliodas ordered everyone to separate and meet up later. Elizabeth was there, and she got badly injured. Meliodas almost lost control of his darkness again, but Merlin slapped his butthole and sucked his powers before he got to do anything. After some time, he wakes up in a cave 40 miles to the kingdom of Camelot. There he meets Hok-Chan the pork for the first time. Hok-Chan said something about him having a feeling that he was able to fly once. I mean, his name is literally a bird. Meliodas remembered Wandulu, who died in Danafall. He warmed up to Hok, and they became best friends. Meliodas, being the genius that he is, he sold his sacred treasure, Lost Vein, so he can build a tavern on top of on top of Mrs. Fat Piggy, and became business partners with Hok-Chan. The reason Meliodas was calm here is that in order for Elizabeth to die, he must be in her presence. Since he wasn't able to see her die, it essentially means that she is alive and well with her father. This is where the first episode of the anime started, 10 years after Hok-Chan and Meliodas met. An armored knight crashed inside Borhat's tavern, turned out to be Elizabeth. Meliodas sets out with Elizabeth as the seal's final piece to search out for the other deadly sins. After they picked up Diana and Ban, an important event took place in Dhoomie. When the 7 deadly sins were invited for dinner in Dana's house, something important happened that I feel like 90% of the 7 deadly fans completely missed out on. There was a premonition event destined to take place in time. The prophecy said, when shooting stars traverse the heavens on a cross, Britannia will be met with an enormous obstacle. It will signal the beginning of a trial preordained since ancient times, and mark the onset of a holy war between the guiding hand of light and the bloodline of darkness. Meliodas thought that the first holy war 3000 years ago was that prophecy, but it was clear to him that there is a coming holy war that will truly be the test for humanity's survival. I thought it was cool, even Merlin appeared in the anime scene. Meliodas picked up King, and Gothru stopped an arrow with his butthole, and Peliodas is here? What? After the Vaisal tournament, this guy somehow was able to beat Berserk Meliodas? Anyways, he took the dragon hilt, which was the second key to breaking the seal on the commandments. Meliodas had one last sniff at Elizabeth's underwear before your obsessed girlfriend stole Elizabeth. Meliodas knew exactly what they wanted. First the dragon hilt, now Elizabeth. They definitely want to break the coffin of eternal darkness. Meliodas rushes to rescue Elizabeth, and as a matter of fact, Elizabeth rescues Meliodas in the most beautiful, tear-dropping scene of the entire anime's existence. Elizabeth and the Nanatsu no Taizai successfully defeated Hendrickson, or so they thought. A flying penis with wings crossed the horizon and revived the 10 commandments using the hilt and Elizabeth's $300 bathwater. Meliodas heard the fart from across the land, he smelt it, and knew exactly whose ass it came out from. The 7 deadly sins went to Camelot to repel a demon fat boy. Gallant came in and avenged the demon fat boy from being bullied. The deadly sins had a genius idea to get stronger. Meliodas went to his side bitch's house and took back his lost power. Meliodas said hi to the new 10 commandments, but they sent him back to his father in purgatory. Meliodas teased his father a little bit and reminded him that he almost beat his weak ass father, then punched his way back. Meliodas' combat class before the druid training was 3370. It went up to 32500 after gaining his powers. That's when his demonic emblem is not active. When Meliodas' feeling escaped purgatory for the last time, he came back to Britannia even stronger than he was before. It's part of his curse if you remember. His combat class now is 60,000 without the demonic mark. And let's not forget that he also lost some of his emotions. Meliodas came back to Britannia stronger. He rescued Elizabeth and lost his control when he avenged Frauderen for the death of Liz. So at this moment of time, 5 of the 10 commandments are eliminated and 5 remain alive, whom are Zeldoris, Estarossa, Gloxinia, Dorol, and Melascula. The deadly sins are recalled on a tower they were once deemed traitors in. They were waiting for King Baratara when King and Diana came back from their honeymoon. Diana kicks Gother in the stomach so hard, she helps him gain back his lost power. The 7 deadly sins went out to Colin to get rid of the dimension warp on Camelot created inside of Colin by the one and only Mrs. Steal Your Boyfriend. She steals Meliodas from Elizabeth and has a tea party with him while the 7 deadly sins fight each other. Elizabeth comes in and saves everyone. And then comes the moment we all been waiting for. We waited since season fucking 2 for this very battle. Our most beloved 2 characters of the entire entire anime. Escanor and Meliodas 1v1 inside a perfect 2 cube, man to man. And God, was it so fucking. The animation was so bad, Meliodas took a nap in Elizabeth's lap. Oh wait, fuck, sorry. Wrong animation, sorry. While that was happening, the Demon King wakes up from his slumber and tells Zeldaris to take back his young, beautiful, strong vessel Meliodas back home. Zeldaris calls out his tank gang, but no one answers. Zeldaris here looked so fucking sexy that I literally made him my second monitor wallpaper. And guess what Studio Dean done? How did you fuck it up? Anyways, he meets his teacher Cossack, who was a lot scarier in the manga, and Chandler, who was a perverted old man who wanted a piece of that Meliodas. Meliodas was playing too late in the night, so Papa Chandler came in and took him back home. Zeldaris, Esterossa and Meliodas meet up, and honestly this was such a cool scene. He straight manhandled those scrubs. Meliodas' plan is to consume the 10 commandments for himself. That will give him enough combat class to disable the curse placed on Elizabeth. So, Zeldaris and Esterossa set out to gather the 10 commandments for him. Esterossa, who is my favorite character in the anime, went out and gathered the commandments for himself. Zeldaris accidentally woke up his big brother Ludishel and he ruins his commandment gathering. Zeldaris fucks Ludishel and goes back empty-handed, knowing that Esterossa will be greedy and lose the commandments to Meliodas anyways. Meliodas, despite being stolen out of his emotions, he still apologizes for the kind of big brother he is. He then started his commandment receiving ritual? By that I mean he turns into a honeycomb. This is where the trash Studio Dean stopped. Ban in this moment is still inside of purgatory. He's suffering inside of literal hell, but since he's the Ban we know and love, he never gives up. Life in purgatory is different than life outside. Each 1 year spent inside of purgatory is equal to 1 minute in the real world. He found a dragon figure roaming purgatory. He battled it and won. This figure appeared to be a naked Meliodas. Yes, I had to stress that both of them are naked. Guess why? It's literally hell. The miasmas burn everything, including their clothes. It burned Ban for so long his body got used to it, and Meliodas is straight god because he doesn't even feel anything. They, along with Hok-chan's big brother, Wild, that you saw right about Nya, fought the Demon King in Purgatory, in his natural habitat, so you can only assume that they are at a disadvantage. Plus, the Meliodas in Purgatory is not Meliodas, it's Meliodas' emotions. So add that to the disadvantage. They spent 60 years in Purgatory battling the Demon King. Out of 6,093 attempts, they won about none of it. Meliodas gives up, but Ban chokes him because he never gives in. Ban gains new awesome powers that you will see later in the future. In any case, he successfully rescues Meliodas' emotions, although Wild had to sacrifice himself to ensure that Hok-chan is safe and happy with his friends. Anyways, this is Meliodas' story. Ban returns from where he entered, Hok-chan's eyes, and Meliodas also returned. We are nearing the end of the story, to be fair. Nanatsu no Taizai eventually succeed in rescuing Meliodas from the ritual, or so they thought. An adult Meliodas appeared. His combat class here is approximately 600,000 plus. That Minibus is the Demon King Meliodas possessed by his father. He smacks everyone around, while Meliodas fights the Demon King inside of his mind. A green Ban pops out of nowhere, and man to man fights a Demon King. That is so fucking cool. And do you know what's cooler about it too? Studio Dean hasn't ruined it yet, so I will enjoy the living fuck out of this moment while it lasts. Gother invites the rest of the 7 deadly sins in a tea party inside of Meliodas' mindscape. They give him love and friendship and... Guys, stop fucking looking, you perverted shits. They successfully derive the Demon King out of Meliodas, and he goes back to his lovable attitude. Meliodas is strong as tits right now. His combat class is through the roof. He turns into a Power Ranger and destroys both his and Elizabeth's curse. Or so we thought. They go back to Leonis and end of the story. Oh no, wait. Cossack, that slimy fuck, took Zeldaris, took the 10 commandments and forced them inside of him. Guess who becomes the new demon vessel? Zeldaris. For some odd reason, the Demon King wants to destroy everything. Maybe he wants vengeance for his 2 defeats by now from Meliodas? I don't know. Let's keep going. Since Meliodas is beyond god level strength right now, Britannia can't sustain herself in his existence. He passes the bad news of his departure to his friends. Elizabeth will follow him in the demon world since she's used to being there anyways. Meow, I forgot to mention that here, Meliodas and Elizabeth went to Edinburgh and lifted the seal on Gilda. Gilda set out to look for Zeldaris. And we continue. Just as they are about to leave, the curse regenerates and almost kills Elizabeth. But conveniently, Merlin saves Elizabeth. You will understand this convenience later. This phenomenon alerted them that someone strong enough is able to reapply the curse, which means the Demon King isn't dead yet. Meliodas tricks the 7 deadly sins and proceeds with Elizabeth to a lake with vast magic where he expects the Demon King to be there with his new vessel, Zeldaris. Meliodas and Elizabeth literally fuck the Demon King for like 40 chapters straight, the Deadly Sins figure out that Meliodas April fooled them. They go back to that magic lake for like 50 other chapters fighting the Demon King. Meliodas enters the Demon King's mind. After walking through his perverted porn imaginations, he finds Zeldris, where he is held captive by an ugly bitch disguised as his hot girlfriend. He eventually helps Zeldris, but Zeldris has to fight the Demon King from inside. While Nanatsu no Taizai spent 40 more episodes beating his father from the outside, after the 7 Deadly Sins release the Mega Love Strike and eliminate the Demon King, Meliodas has conveniently spent all his god magic beating his father. Therefore, he can now stay in this world of Britannia. Merlin is like, nope! She pulls a massive reverse Uno card and reveals the truth. 3,000 years ago, when baby 10 Commandment Meliodas rescued her, she had a huge crush on Meliodas. When he dated Elizabeth, but not her, she felt so jelly that it made a, and I quote, huge gap in her heart. And the only way to fill that gap was to resurrect the chaos inside of Arthur. His power is so enormous, it rested inside of the big green butin. So Merlin essentially planned all of this 3,000 years ago. She intentionally prolonged the spell of Chrono Coffin to make sure that the Demon King is revived. She's the one who reactivated the curse on Elizabeth, and she also controlled the destination of the Mega Love Strike to hit the lake, not the Demon King. Meliodas was like, how dare you kill my woman? She ignores her crush, and Arthur is like, please no fight for me. Okay, now that every evil character in the Nanatsu no Taizai is dead, guess who becomes the mega villain who is as strong as Arthur? Nope, it's fucking Kath, that bull cat. He jumped out of nowhere to hug Arthur. When this nibba grew a mouth so big it makes every dick wet. He ate his arm off and had a very convenient dialogue about how evil he is and how much he wants to destroy everything. For 20 more episodes of me screaming at Arthur, just fucking eat him, Arthur finally eats the cat. And GG, well played, that's the end of the story. Meliodas marries Elizabeth for some reason and gets a child named Tristan. Ban also hooks up with Elaine and gets a child named Lancelot. And somehow, little Harley Quinn impregnates big ol' Diana and has a child of his own. And we are yet to know his name. But I mostly want to know, how the flux did this little man get a child with Diana? Let's hope that they explain that in their next sequel named The Four Knights of Apocalypse, which will be mainly a team of 4, 2 of which are Tristan and Lancelot. And where the fuck is the promised arm wrestle between Ban and Meliodas' children? And yeah, that's about sums up the entire story of Meliodas from day 1 till the very end. And honestly, I had so much fun doing this video. Having the chance to go back to the manga and reading it again, honestly, it was so fun. And I have other ideas like the full story of Ban, the full story of King, the full story of Escanor, and I'm really excited to make them. So if you enjoyed the video, support the channel, do your thing. Hope you guys had fun. Take care, I love you, and see you guys in the next one. Bye! It's all